Hare Krishna, PADMANAYANA Prabhu. Please accept my respectful obeisances. Our glories to confirm that Chala is divine English. Prabhupada. Our glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. So welcome to Hare Krishna Africa platform. So dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam. We are honored we have His Grace PADMANAYANA Prabhu, who is going to be speaking to us today from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter 3, text number 15. So Sahadev Prabhu, are you there?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please take over.
It seems Prabhu is trying to connect his audio.
Okay.
Nadia Gojumanithananda Mahajan Nadia Gojumanithananda Mahajan Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan Shradhavan Jana hai, Shradhavan Jana hai Shradhavan Jana hai, Shradhavan Jana hai Prabhu Agai Bhai Magiye Bhikha
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is your audio set? I think it is. But you are still muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
So just like my big brother, His Grace Salika Prabhu said, we are very grateful to have the association today. So we may put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from here.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Some other my computer is not responding today, you know.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm using mobile now. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it does happen like that.
Huh?
Yeah, I said sometimes these electronic gadgets are like that.
I don't know why it happens like this. Only Krishna knows. Okay. Oh, I got it.
Good. Good.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Very clear, yes.
Oh, good. No, it's done.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now, so should I start now, Prabhu?
Yes, we have the verse on the screen.
Yes. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Satarine वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मदेकबन्धुमत्सङ्गेन्मद्गुरो मन्महाधन मन्निष्ठारकमद्भाग्यमदानन्दनमस्तु ते। असाधु साधुतादायन् अतीनेच च तारका आनमञ्च कदाशिन्मां प्रेम्णायुत्कण्ठया स्फुरः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So reading from Canto 3, Chapter 3, text number 15. मिथो जदैषां भविता विवादो मध्वामदाताम्रविलोचनानां नैषां वधोपायानतन्यो मयोद्यतेऽन्तर्दधते स्वयं स्म। मिथो यदैषां भविता विवादो मध्वामदाताम्रविलोचनानां नैषां वधोपाययानतन्यो मयोद्यतेऽन्तर्दधते स्वयं स्म। मिथो यदैषां भविता विवादो मध्वामदाताम्रविलोचनानां नैषां वधोपाययानतन्यो मयोद्यतेऽन्तर्दधते स्वयं स्म। Translation. Okay, what meaning? Mitha, one another. Yada, when. Esham, of them. Bhavita, will take place. Vivada, quarrel. Madhu amada, intoxication by drinking. Atamra vilochananam, of their eyes being copper red. No, not. Esham, of them. Badha upaya, means of disappearance. Yan, like this. Ataha, besides this. Anyaha, alternative. Mai, on my. Udyate, disappearance. Antah dadhate, will disappear. Swayam, themselves. Small, certainly. When they quarrel among themselves, influenced by intoxication, with their eyes red like copper, because of drinking madhu, then only will they disappear. Otherwise, it will not be possible. On my disappearance, this incident will take place. Go to the purport. The Lord and his associates appear and disappear by the will of the Lord. They are not subjected to the laws of material nature. No one was able to kill the family of the Lord, nor was there any possibility of their natural death by the laws of nature. The only means, therefore, for their disappearance was the make show of a fight amongst themselves, as if brawling in intoxication due to drinking. That so-called fighting would also take place by the will of the Lord. Otherwise, there would be no cause for their fighting. Just as Arjuna was made to be illusioned by family affection, and thus the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So, the Yadu dynasty was made to be intoxicated by the will of the Lord and nothing more. The devotees and associates of the Lord are completely surrendered souls. Thus, they are transcendental uh, instruments in the hands of the Lord and can be used in any way the Lord desires. The pure devotees also enjoy such pastimes of the Lord because they want to see Him happy. Devotees of the Lord never assert independent individuality. On the contrary, they utilize their individuality in pursuit of the desires of the Lord. And this cooperation of the devotee with the Lord makes a perfect scene of the Lord's pastime. Hmm? So the verse says, मिथो जदेशाम मिथो जदेशाम भविता विवादो मध्वा मदा ताम्र विलोचनानाम नैषाम वधोपायान ज्ञानतन्यो मयुध्यत्यंतर्दधते स्वयं स्म. So we know here Uddhava is speaking to Vidura. Actually, Uddhava and Maitra, they're discussing going on. Right? Uddhava is discussing with Maitra. You know the context. When Kurukshetra battle was about to begin, just before, for the last time, Krishna came as a peace messenger to convince Duryodhana's party by speaking to Dhritarashtra. When Krishna came to the assembly, even though Krishna gave all good advice, still Duryodhana and his party didn't accept it. And Krishna became very much unhappy with the entire situation, and he left with dissatisfaction. Then Dhritarashtra could immediately sense there will be some problem, there will be danger. So he immediately called for Vidura. Because whenever Dhritarashtra was in confused state, he always consulted Vidura for advice. So when he called Vidura, Vidura, in a very polite way, he tried to convince Dhritarashtra that he should stop petting his son Duryodhana. He should stop supporting him. Rather, he should be he should take the decisions on the side of Dharmaraj to this stage. But as you know, when Vidura was speaking to Dhritarashtra, he said, "You must know that this Duryodhana, who you think your son, he is actually going to be the cause of destroying your entire family tradition. Means he is a kulangar, he is a coal in your family, and he is born as a part of Kali. So better to give up your attachment to such a representative of Kali. As Vidura was speaking very heavily to Dhritarashtra, at that time Duryodhana, Shakuni, Karna, all these people arrived on the spot. And when when Duryodhana heard Vidura speaking against Duryodhana, he immediately ordered that this gentleman must be beaten to the breath. Means he should just leave this place. He should not speak anything. So Vidura was a central person. He understood that he doesn't have any interest in the in the court, but Dhritarashtra had asked him for counsel. That's why he was giving. But immediately after hearing Duryodhana's words, Vidura he left the palace by leaving his bow and arrow on the doorstep. He just left, he walked out just with the clothes he was wearing. And he went on touring different places in India until he arrived in Vrindavan. When he was in Vrindavan, he met Uddhava on the bank of Yamuna. When he met at that time, already Kurukshetra battle had over. So he started to inquire about how are Krishna Balram doing, are they happy in the house of Sursen, how is Vasudev doing, Devaki doing. By taking the name of each individual, he asked about their welfare. And then it came to a point where he is speaking about the Lord's appearance and disappearance from this earth. So previously, Uddhava spoke that Lord descends to this world to definitely establish dharma, but at the same time, how does he do that? By demonstrating through his example. And then he explained that these unwanted kings who were the burden for the earth were eradicated in the battle of Kurukshetra. That was actually spoken by Krishna himself. Krishna, he told that what Krishna spoke, Uddhava is speaking. He said, these 18 Akshonis soldiers who were killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra were Earth's great burden. And they were eradicated with the help of Drona, Bhishma, Arjun, Bhima. So now Krishna is saying there is still the great strength of the Yadu dynasty born of myself. That means here Krishna is speaking that the Yadu dynasty who are born of himself are also a burden to the earth. How is that? Because of their unconquerable strength. They were actually a burden. Means, except Krishna or Krishna's will, you can say, and no other way these Yadavas could be defeated or could be wiped out. So therefore, here it is mentioned that Krishna is saying the only way of their disappearance from this earth will be possible by a particular incident. What is the different sentence? Krishna explains, Mitho Yadaisham Bhavita Vivado. When they will start quarreling, or you can say fighting amongst themselves, uh, uh, right? Then what will happen? And again he's saying, Madhva Madatam Vilochananam. Their eyes will be copper red by drinking madhu, means uh, uh, honey. Or here actually, here in this connection particularly it is said that they will be intoxicated. Okay. Whatever by drinking they'll become intoxicated and they'll start quarreling and fighting amongst each other. That means here it is said we need to understand when people are in the mood of ignorance, they become foolish. Uh, they lose their conscience. And when they attain pride because of their strength or opulence, followers, and so forth, that pride is a sign of uh, deha vivekadi, uh, vismaratmaka, means at that time they will not have the conscience that they have a body or there are people who are related to this body and this body's duty is to serve Krishna. All these concepts will automatically disappear from them. And then he's saying here, madat means because of the intoxication, either that can be taken as by drinking some intoxicant item or because of the pride, tamra vilochananam, their eyes will become red. So this is also a very important point. Uh, when somebody becomes too powerful in this world, that can be taken as their physical strength or some money, bank balance, or maybe having some property. In whichever way, when they become very rich, they become very proud. At that time, when any kind of advice given for their well-being, immediately they become angry. And the manifestation of anger can be seen in their eyes. That means eye becomes red. That is what happens to the common people. And in this episode, that's what it said, Tamra Viluchananam, their eyes will become copper red because of their intoxication. Here you can say mother. So, and what will happen? Naisam vadhopayam atanyam. So Krishna is saying that there is no other way these entities can be wiped out from the surface of the globe. No, yeah, means there is no other way. What is the way? Oh, Krishna is speaking so nicely, huh? By being intoxicated, they will fight with each other. That's how they will kill each other. So is this a good way? That the family members of Lord Krishna will kill each other out of intoxication. Is this what Krishna is trying to tell? No, that's why in the next line he's saying, Mai udyate antardadhate swayam shma. That's what Prabhupada is giving a very beautiful purport. He explains that the Lord and his associates appear and disappear by the will of the Lord. They are not subject to the laws of material nature. So when he says, Mai udyate antardadhate swayam shma, when Krishna decides to relinquish his pastime on this earth planet, that time automatically by the will of the Lord. See, if you see the Sanskrit word, he said swayam. Small means certainly. On their own, they will disappear. some people don't understand the point very clearly. You tell those who came to assist Lord in this earthly planet, they are not conditioned souls. They are not to be taken in the category of any ordinary living entity. They are actually liberated souls who came along with the Lord to assist him in his pastime. Now you can say, so how is it possible that these entities will be, quarreling and fighting, overtaken by anger, and they will become proud, and that is how they will quarrel and fight, and they will annihilate uh, each other. No, it is not possible. If we take it like that, then we have to say. uh, Okay, if somebody says, because of darkness, sun is not visible. Is it possible? Can it happen? If we say, because of darkness, sun remains invisible. No. Similarly, how can you say the Nitya Parsadas of the Lord, who are the eternal associates of the Lord, they will be quarreling and fighting, being intoxicated, and that will be the cause of their disappearance from this earth? No, just like darkness cannot cover the sun, similarly, no region of this material world can be accepted as the cause of the disappearance of the associates of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, here Lord Krishna is speaking, Mai Udyate. As Krishna will attempt, Krishna will desire to disappear from this earth planet. At that time, Swayam, Antardadate, they themselves will disappear. But the other explanations have been given just to make a show that they have disappeared like that. Okay, so they themselves will disappear. And towards the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada makes a very beautiful point. Devotees of the Lord never assert independent individuality. On the contrary, they utilize their individuality in pursuit of the desire of the Lord, and this cooperation of the devotees with the Lord makes a perfect scene of the Lord's pastimes. That means even though the living entities are individuals, but a devotee, he never thinks of himself as an independent individual person. That means whatever he does, whatever he speaks, uh, whatever even he thinks in his mind, he always sees the connection with the Supreme Lord. He sees how all his activities, thinking, deeds are connected with the Supreme Lord. So in that way, he is not an independent person. How to understand this? Devotee is not an independent person. Like the second, what is second Nam Aparad? To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to independent of the name of Lord Vishnu, right? So the demigods are never independent. How to understand that God, the Brahma or Lord Shiva are not independent God? How are they dependent? Externally speaking, they have great power to create and annihilate. So how? See, they do not act on their own will. Rather, they just execute the will of the Lord. Means the example has been taken just like a chaste lady, chaste wife. A chaste wife, she may have some possession, some house or some, item under her possession. But when it comes to selling that property, she will not do independently. She will definitely ask her husband, what should I do? Even though it is under her care, huh? Because she is loyal to her husband. Similarly, even though devotees have the power to do so many things in this world, but never do they take any independent approach. Therefore, Prabhupada is saying, not never assert independent individuality. On the contrary, they utilize the individuality in pursuit of the desires of the Lord. Huh? So that means whenever they try to do anything, they always see what is the Lord's desire. Therefore, many times you have seen the gurus in our organization, they don't just make a show of instructing their disciple just by exercising their intellect. Or we can say, those who simply try to exercise their own intelligence by analyzing the condition of this material world and try to give advice to their disciples, they definitely meet with failure. That is not the success. The success is when you instruct your disciple by following the instructions of the Lord, that is the success. That means a guru is never whimsical. He never independently think he is an independent individual. Rather, whatever decisions he gives to the disciples, his foremost duty is to find the answer from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or any other Vedic literature where Lord or his devotees might have spoken about that issue, that problem. To be honest with you, there is no such issue or no such problem which Lord has not addressed, which the devotees of the Lord have not addressed. But the problem is, unfortunately, in this age of Kali, everybody thinks themselves are like, big scholars. And they are very expert at concocting the philosophy. And they try to give their own point of view, what they think. My dear sir, what is the value of what you think? Huh? What do you think about yourself? You are not supposed to think, you are supposed to be a follower. Unfortunately, when a devotee, he occupies falsely as a position of a doer. Independently, he tries to take decision without taking assistance of the instructions of the Lord. He tries to impart his dependent members on the science of personal consciousness. He just brings misfortune to his own spiritual growth and also adds misfortune to the life of his disciples. So devotees are never individual. And you see, in this connection, this is also a sign of Lord's opulence. Right? Aisharyasya samagrasya virijasya jasasasya jnana vairagyasya sannam bhogatingara. Even though Lord had such a huge family, Yadu dynasty, he was completely detached. He brought them to this world, he performed the pastimes, and he left those pastimes for us, the conditioned soul, to take advantage from those pastimes. Then, when it came to going back home, back to Godhead, what did he do? He took back all these entities with him. Huh? You tell me, if you see, like by his will, they disappeared. Any family man in this world, you can take an example, for example, any family man in this world, do you think he will ever think of killing his own family members before he departs this world? It is impossible. Huh? So this is a sign of renunciation also. Um, you can see in the life of Lord Ramchandra, right? In the Ramchandra's life, we see when see Ramchandra came back to Ayodhya after exile, then he heard that there was a washerman who was speaking ill of Ramchandra, keeping Sita Devi when Sita was abducted by Ravana. And when this message came to Lord Ramchandra, see his renunciation. He immediately vanished Sita Devi. See, every pastime of the Lord has some lesson for us to learn. Those who are crooked mentality people, they think, oh, what is this, see, Lord vanished his own wife even. What do you mean by? No, that is the sign of renunciation, this through this pastime. You try to learn this. Can you renounce your wife like that? Nobody will do that. Even if you hear something, you will always try to, do what you want. So, because that is to protect the citizen, even Lord Ramchandra also depicted this highest mode of renunciation. So, like this, Yadus, if they still continue their existence in this earth in Krishna's absence, nobody will be able to defeat them. So there will also be another kind of burden. Krishna didn't want to leave that burden on this earth while he decided to relinquish his pastime. Therefore, by his will, in the Sanskrit, therefore we said that in Sanskrit it is said, Mai udyate udyama. Udyama means his desire or his will, we can say. Mai udyate antardadate swayamsma. When I desire, Krishna is saying, they will automatically disappear. So similarly, when you become a pure devotee of the Lord, means you simply and sincerely follow Krishna's instructions and do your duty according to Guru Sadhana Shastra, then Krishna will also take care of your life. He will take charge of your life and you will become successful in Krishna consciousness. So, thank you very much. Any question or comment on whatever we have discussed?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this impactful Krishna Katha shared with us today. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, realizations, you may want to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji and you can also unmute.
Question, comment, or
yes.
complaint you may have, you are most welcome.
Actually, Prabhuji, when you were speaking, when you were talking about Uddhava asking the well-being of the families from Vidura, and he was like mentioning names individually. How is this person doing? How that? I remembered when some of us first moved from West Africa to the US, because Africa is tropical area. West Africa is tropical. It's warm. It's hot, and the US is cold. And it was like around December, and our Gurudev was very, very much concerned. He was asking us. He said, "These devotees are not used to the cold weather. How are they doing?" And he personally instructed that the devotees here provide us with whatever we needed to keep ourselves warm. And I said, wow, this is so beautiful. So when you were talking about Uddhava asking Vidura how...
Vidura asking Uddhava.
Vidura asking Uddhava, yes. I remembered that experience, that it's so beautiful, which means you're thinking of the well-being of the individuals.
This speaks about Krishna is a person, he is not imperson,
yeah.
an individual.
Yeah.
If Guru, who is a representative of Krishna, can be so caring about his disciples, then how can you say Krishna is impersonal? No.
Yeah.
He cares for his devotee. Devotees also care for him.
Yeah.
That is you can see the happiness in Krishna consciousness.
But Prabhuji, I understand Kamsa also belonged to the Yadu family. But is that the reason why nobody could kill him except Krishna himself?
I have to check. I have to check that. I don't
Okay. Because I understand Kamsa also
was killed by Krishna, yes.
Yeah, but he was also coming from the Yadu dynasty, Ramsa. But it's very interesting that those who come on earth, those who are eternal associates, even though they may take certain roles that are unhealthy, but it's Krishna's plan. Now, sometimes some of us, and this question has been asked on this platform a couple times, that because these externally they lived like demons, they were actually rendering it a service that Krishna had asked them to render. So can we say that the devotees who also act anemically are also acting like that on the basis of Krishna wanting to help that particular devotee? Is that the case? We are not pure devotees. We are not eternal associates. So what do we say about that?
No, you cannot take like that. Like you see, there are different ways one can cultivate Krishna consciousness, right? See, those who were envious to Krishna, like Shishupal, Kamsa, okay, what is that? This Narad Muni is saying, no, Juyam Bhaktya Vayam Viho. We, the devotees, in devotion, and Pandava out of affection. These two have been accepted as the bona fide bhava. Otherwise, even though others were thinking of Krishna, apparently speaking, Krishna was also getting pleasure out of their interaction with Krishna, for example, when they were fighting with Krishna and all. But that is not to be counted amongst the rasa, the bhakti. Okay, that is bhakti, gauna bhakti ras. That is not mukhya bhakti ras. So in that way, even if you take it that somebody is doing like that, Krishna is kind of okay, happy with that. No, you cannot take it like that. That is not mukhya bhakti ras. That is gauna mukhya ras. And that is what not we or our acharyas have accepted. We have rejected that. Therefore, very, very important to know the concepts of our acharyas very clearly. Otherwise, you will become Mayavadi. Somebody doing all nonsense, you say, oh, no, this is again bringing pleasure to Krishna, that's okay. No, you cannot take it. You cannot equate like that.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Very much. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, because it's happened a couple times that devotees sometimes speak like that. It's Krishna's plan. Even though we are not very advanced devotees, we're struggling with our own senses. But sometimes they will say, you don't have to say anything because that is Krishna's plan. But one of our
Krishna's plan, you take Krishna's plan, is it an execution of pure devotional service?
That's the question.
Yes. So pure devotional service means it should be, pleasing to Krishna and devoid of hostility by the part of the performer. They are not devoid of hostility by the part of the performance. But in case of Pandavas, in case of Narad Muni, whatever they did, it was definitely for the pleasure of the Lord and it was without hostility. So just by saying this is for the pleasure of the Lord, he went and killed somebody. Oh, you cannot say it like that.
Yeah.
He's swindling money. He's doing all sorts of nonsense for the pleasure of the Lord. No, you can't say it like that. So bad things are done by sometimes devotees. That is not good.
Well, thank you so much. Dear devotees, does anyone have something to ask or share? Please. Prabhuji, of course, is speaking from India, so it's quite late his time. So if we have any questions, comments, we should do that as early as possible so we may allow him to take rest for tomorrow morning's busy activities.
Yes,
Those of you who may not know our speaker, I'm fortunate to say he's my very dear friend, but he is one of the main brains behind our educational system in ESCON. So all the different educations Mayapur Institute shares with the world is one of the main brains behind. So we are very much blessed to have this association with us today. And hopefully we may have this association at least once every month. hopefully. He's very busy, so if we cannot have his association, it's understandable. But if we have his association, we better try to make the most use of his association. We may ask him whatever questions we may have, and he will humbly try to answer our question.
Since there is no question, I will.
Well, devotees, if there is no question, like I said, I indicated it's quite late his time. So, okay. Madhavan Prabhu.
Madhavan Prabhu, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for your wonderful lecture, for giving us your time, your precious time. I just want to have a simple question. What happened to the palaces, 16,108 palaces that Krishna established after the disappearance of the Yadi dynasty? So what happened to the palace?
Can you repeat the question, Sadhya Prabhu?
Yeah, he is asking what happened. We read that Krishna married 16,108 wives, and he built a palace for each of them. So yes. What happened to the palaces when Krishna disappeared?
In this first canto, it is explained, no, that after Krishna disappeared, then the Yadavas also, they kind of they quarrel and fight in Prabhas. They also departed, they also disappeared. Now all the queens, later on, Arjuna went to rescue them, bring them to Hastinapur from Dwarka. And on the way, Krishna was also defeated by the Ghoses, who beat him and took them away. And then after that, what happened? By the will of the Lord, this entire Dwaraka city was submerged under water. And there are some information also today available that that city is still on the ocean.
Okay. So which means the Dwaraka...
Nobody is allowed to take possession of Krishna's opulence. Dwaraka was not like any other modern city, try to understand. It was having all best of best, jewels, stones, everything, So how can an ordinary human being will have access to those things? No, it's impossible. Yes.
So that means the modern day Dwaraka is not Krishna's Dwaraka.
Huh?
I said the modern day Dwaraka we have is not the Krishna's Dwaraka, because Krishna's Dwaraka was submerged.
Yes, it was submerged.
Okay. Actually, there has been scientific proof. Divers have found artifacts in the ocean bed, and they trace it back to 5,000 and some years back.
Correct.
That it was civilization. People lived there, so it confirms what the scriptures tell us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you so much, Madhavan Prabhu, for your question, and His Grace Padmanayan Prabhu, thank you for the answer. And with that being said, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace Padmanayan Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us today. Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpa taribhyascha kripa sindhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. All glories to His Grace Padmanayan